Hello my viewers and welcome back to my channel. I welcome you to a powerful conversation where American women share their feelings and reactions to the recent presidential election. Now the outcome has left many feeling frustrated, angry and concerned about the future of women's rights. Now for some, the fact that many men voted for Donald Trump is a stark reminder that women's rights are still not being taken seriously. Now as we hear from these women, it's clear that they're not just disappointed, they are energized to take action. They're joining the 4B movement, a symbol of resistance and solidarity. Now, by sharing their stories and experiences, they hope to raise awareness about the importance of women's rights and challenge those who may not understand or value them. For decades, women have fought for equal rights, from the suffrage movement to today's ongoing battles. Despite progress, many feel that their voices are still being ignored. Now, the election outcome has reignited a sense of urgency, with women demanding to be heard and respected. So with that said, let's take a look at these videos and hear what they have to say.
If you thought you were involuntarily celibate before, wait until you see what women are like when they realize that having one of your babies could cost them their life. Oh, you definitely won't be getting any. And you know what? It's what you deserve. Now these women can focus on their careers. They can focus on their female friendships. You already hate the fact that there are rich aunties out there, child-free and happy. You just made even more of them. You said you were going to get your passport, but you didn't do that. You said there's no need. You can change the laws right here. Good luck with that, because these women aren't risking it. But shout out to the child-free women who are really appreciating the life that they're living, where they're not with a man who thinks that everything that has to do with that child is your responsibility. You thought that you were really going to stick it to women, but what you really did was you're going to let them realize how amazing life is for some of them without children. Some of your genes do need. So I know you wanted a legacy. You wanted a little mini-me to be as mediocre as you are. Now you won't even get that.
Now that the dust has settled, it's a couple of things that I want to say. Y'all, I think I'm ready to go full 4B. I'm ready to go full 4B movement on the men. Actually, black men, y'all did well. We got about 80% or so. It's always going to be some knuckleheads that think they white and got a white woman or, whatever. Y'all, the black men did pretty good. I'm not specifically mad at black men. It's just men in general treating women like, why are our rights always up for grabs? It's not a free country if every 4 years I got to fight for my life. Like, if y'all insist on making women second-class citizens, we don't have to give you our body. If we got to fight for our reproductive rights, we don't have to give you children. We don't have to reproduce with you. We're going to do like they doing over in Korea. Korea got a whole missing class of children because they stopped mating with the men and they stopped giving birth because their rights were not being protected and because the men were not doing their fair share. And I'm ready to go full 4B. Women, if you haven't heard of it, look up the 4B movement. I think that the only way that women are going to get respect and change the narrative and break out of this misogynistic patriarchal nightmare is to withhold our bodies and start demanding more. We cannot be pick-me's. We cannot be chasing after men. We cannot be using our emotions and making excuses for men's poor treatment of us. We cannot be protecting DL men, especially in the church. We cannot be protecting predators. We have to stand up for us and us only, because that's what they're doing. And we are standing by our men, supporting them, supporting the church in their misogyny and making us feel like second-class citizens and going along with it like we agree with it. Like we really think the is the issue, when really the issue is women's freedom. You don't want women to feel free. You want men to feel free and women to be punished and carry the burden and shame of unwanted pregnancy or STDs or so on and so forth. And guess what? Well, then y'all just be celibate. How about that? How about y'all just how Grindr crashed at the RNC because y'all was DL? Y'all go ahead and keep doing that. And then we'll just keep our stuff to ourselves, or we'll just share it with each other. And then we'll just go our separate ways. How about that? But as for women continuing to participate in the misogyny, even especially in our churches, like I just have zero patience for it anymore. I'm just not going. I'm not going. Men, they act like women are so emotional. The crash outs that I see are men. Men are crashing out. If you tell them no, when you try to act like you don't want to give them your number or that you are not interested in them, you become all kind of fat, black, ugly, all kind of things. Like the men are the ones that's crashing out. And I think we need a good old timeout from each other. If you are in a marriage that's horrible, get out of it. Get out of it. If you have trouble getting out of it and can't live on your own, get you one or two best friends and y'all make a little female compound with you and your children, and y'all help each other and take care of each other. There is ways. We do not have to continue to subject ourselves to abuse, to being second class, to misogyny, to all of these things, and then can't even get adequate health care because this is what we voting for. This is what men want. And white women, y'all did not show up. Latino men, I don't got nothing for you. Come and get your abuela. Good. I don't know what to tell you. If y'all want to be white and they want to deport your grandma, I'm letting her have it. I'm not marching with nobody else. White women, y'all got to do better. Y'all still want to sleep with the men, the black men, but y'all not showing up at the polls the way y'all said. Y'all did better. Not even better. No, y'all did terrible. White women, y'all did terrible. Y'all did decently okay, but how y'all was talking, y'all didn't show up like y'all was supposed to. And women in general, we have to reevaluate what we are accepting and what we want out of life. We are letting Christianity convince us that God wants us to be second place in our own homes, in our own lives. Like we gotta be, we're giving men all the main character stuff, but we doing all the heavy lifting and all the work in the relationship and for the family and with the kids and all of that stuff, while they just sit there and get to claim authority. And we just going along with it like that's what God wants. He doesn't want me to leave this abusive relationship. What God? That is, we got God twisted, and I feel like God is pissed about it. And I think that things are going to keep getting worse until women get pissed enough to do something different, which is withhold your body, stop engaging in these fugazi, ridiculous relationships, and pull out until you get your worth. If you are in a relationship with a man and he is not treating you to what you value and you continue to stay there, then you are just as much part of the problem as he is. Because if you withdraw yourself, if we withdraw our presence, if we stop playing the game don't exist. We got to stop playing it. 4B. I'm full 4B at this point.
Fighting them by arguing with them in your comments. Because it's like you offering up your energy on a silver platter. Like they're literally men who sit up and troll the internet just so they can get a reaction out of you every single day. Stop letting them.
While I am extremely concerned about the radicalization of young men, I have been concerned about radicalization of young people, period. I had neighbors when I was in middle school that were most definitely on the far right pipeline. I don't think this is just a young man issue, and I think that we got to stop it with the I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl, so I can't really do math. I can't really do this stuff. I just want to just be a girl and turn my brain off when I have a boyfriend and let him just figure everything out. Girl math and girl dinner and just girly things, and like this infantilization that a lot of y'all have ascribed to womanhood and being female, and romanticizing living on like a prairie and trad wives and all of that stuff. That is also radicalization. That has also been propaganda. That is also like, oh my God, if it weren't for feminism, I could just be living this life where I didn't have to work and I could just have a family, this. You the opposite side of the coin, baby. Opposite side of the coin. And now to see y'all, first off, I want to say to the people who are like, I'm going to cancel out my husband's vote. I'm going to cancel out my boyfriend's vote. Are you serious? You didn't cancel out shit. What's telling us that? Oh, I'm laid up with someone who doesn't think I should have rights. Okay. Like, keep that to yourself, please. But now y'all want to talk about 4B movement? That will not happen here. This is not Korea. The 4B, like, this is not Korea. The United States is extremely different than Korea. So if your solution is just like, oh, if we're not in relationships with men, then that'll inspire them to like vote differently, will it? How will that counteract the millions of women who also don't everyone else? Like, and will vote Republican, will vote for Trump. Like, what does the 4B movement do for them? And while I think that we generally do need change and movement and stuff like that, We need something that's like specific to our own situation, not just trying to copy what Korean women are doing, because there's so many women who already have kids, already are married, already like solve anything for America. Like, this is not Korea. I need y'all to turn this on. Seriously. Turn this on. Like, no, I don't think you should be laid up with someone who doesn't think you should have rights. But if your solution is just that you never get into her, you know, no marriage, no kids, come on now. You really think that's gonna work in America? Really? Think about this quickly.
So I'm seeing like a lot of, like, I won't say negative, but a lot of opposing comments about the 4B movement. If you don't know the 4B movement, it's this movement that South Korean women created by not having X with men, not procreating with men. They just like, the South Korean women's like F men, basically, in so many words. And I've been seeing like a lot of posts like saying, oh, it won't go through because of women. Even if women do, if American women decide, hey, I want to participate in the 4B movement, it doesn't matter, because men, if they decide, I'm going to take it, that's what they're going to do. We have our president. Men don't say no. The only thing we're going to see about this 4B movement is the rise in rape. And that's if women decide to report it to the police. Because when you go report being essayed to the police, they treat you as if you essayed yourself. Am I the victim here or what? So that's the only thing about this 4B movement I'm scared of. Is no matter how many times I say no, if he say yeah, that's gonna be the answer, and I have no choice but to abide by that because it's my life.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to pop on here and welcome all the new girlies who are joining the 4B movement for the first time as a result of this presidential election. Over here you're gonna find like women of all ages, young women, older women, women in between, middle-aged women. You're going to find tons of cats, okay? You're going to find a ton of misandry, okay? And you're going to find healthy pH balances over here. And peace, lots of peace. I really do feel like if most, if not all women got on the same team, one band, one sound type thing, and we realize that in order to get control of our bodies, we have to take it back by limiting who we give our bodies to, aka withholding schmecks, aka withholding romantic relationships from men. And I'm so happy to see that there's like a new onslaught of women joining this movement. I truly do believe this is like the only way, like a last resort, and that we can like take our power back, get our bodies back, get control of our own bodies back. And I'm excited, even though some people may be disappointed with the results of the election. I'm neither disappointed nor excited, neither am I surprised. It just, like I said in my previous video, I knew that nothing was going to change, basically. And the only way that it will change is if women as a whole get on the same team. And that team is called the 4B movement. So welcome, girlies.
Ladies, I'm not saying this to be facetious, but I don't care if you're a rose girl, a wand girl, or a monster alien tentacle girl. Stock up now for your moments of weakness, because I promise you ain't no alive worth getting stuck with a man. None. We are taking coochie off the table indefinitely.
If you would have told me the app Hinge was somehow involved with this election, I believe you, because the way I've never deleted that app quicker in my entire life post-election. Like, women, we're done. We're done dating. Like, I'm not even entertaining it anymore. I'm not even entertaining the older men for money or like free food on dates. Like, no, like that's over. It's completely all locked up now. Absolutely not.
As much as I hate to say it, a 4B movement is not going to happen in the United States. The fact of the matter is that white women, 60% of them voted for that man because they benefit from white supremacy. They didn't vote against their interests. It is in their interest to vote for that man. What I do think might happen, most likely, is that there'll be a decline in birth rates as more and more women die from miscarriages that are totally preventable, that have saved their life. I think people are going to realize what the risk is here. The fact of the matter is that the rise in fascism, the implementation of aspects of Project 2025 is going to scare the shit out of a lot of people, a lot of women specifically. Like, they want to get rid of the Department of Education. A lot of people won't have the funds to provide a sufficient high-quality education to their children. A lot of people won't be able to afford childcare. They can't even afford childcare now. And it's only going to get worse from here. The effects of climate change are going to be more and more apparent. Florida's probably going under, and women aren't going to want to bring that. They're not going to want to bring kids into the world. Not with how scary things are getting. At the end of the day, just be careful in choosing your partners. Avoid hookups as much as you possibly can unless you know that that person is trustworthy and is willing to support you and help you in any way that they can. Get on birth control. IUDs are a great form of birth control. They're horrific to go through, but it could save your life.
You know that feeling when somebody describes something and you resonate so hard that you're like, that is what I've been feeling, that's what I've been doing, that's what I've been wanting, that is it. And you just put words to it. That is how I feel right now, because I just saw TikToks describing the 4B movement. You all, this is what I have been doing for 5 years. So intentionally and so thoughtfully and so by myself, because I did not know that this was a movement. I did not know this was a thing. I did not know that there were other women who were intentionally choosing this same choices and lifestyle that I have been choosing. And it has been so hard for me to try to explain to people why I am choosing to be single, why I am choosing to be celibate, why I do not even hook up with men anymore, why I do not want to have kids. And it is not because I don't love children, and it is not because I don't love myself, and it's not because I don't and have not been in enjoyable relationships. I have, and I've also been in horribly abusive and toxic ones. And all of the experiences that I have had with men, especially in romantic settings, have led me to feeling like I am intentionally and specifically and really committedly choosing singleness, celibacy, child-free living, and not having any romantic relationships with men. And I've had people ask me if I am on the LGBTQ spectrum in some way, and I've explored different definitions and explanations and labels and have not found anything that really resonated with me, because it's not that I don't have attraction to men. Sometimes they're hot, you know, they have beards and muscles and they play hockey and they're in romance books or whatever. That works, you know. But I do not want to be in a relationship with a man. I do not want to have a child with a man. I do not want to marry a man. And the 4B movement is all of that. Those are the 4 things. It started in South Korea. I'm going to try to link a video in the comments or caption or whatever that really explains what the 4B movement is and some of the context and history behind it. But holy cow, I found my people. I'm not alone in this. That is, I could honestly cry. That is such a gift. So I'm really excited to explore more about what this movement looks like, the other women that are part of this, just this trend in general, because I think that there is so much power behind women really owning the choices that they make in their lives and what they want. And if there are women that want the same things as me, I want to connect with them and just feel less alone in my choices in my life. So go research the 4B movement. And ladies, if you feel me, hop in these comments, because I would love to connect with you and find other like-minded, like-hearted women. Okay. So cool. So cool.
How does that solve the problem that white women align with their abusers at every turn? How does that solve that problem? Because you're like, we aren't going to deal with men or put out to men, or that's what we're going to do. But what about the 52% of white women who don't care what you say? I need to hear that answer. What are you going to do about that? Because not their husbands isn't going to do shit. The only way this shit works is if everybody does it. The same with voting. We can't even get them to vote in line with their own health and personal financial interests. You think you're going to get them to stop husbands for power?
Now, for those who may not know what this movement is all about, let me do a quick explanation. Now, the 4B movement is where women are choosing celibacy and to not engage with men, specifically men that have voted for Trump. Because to many women, men who have voted for Trump has said to them that they do not care about women's bodies, their needs, their wants, or care about them as a whole. Now, the only problem with the current 4B movement is the new and improved version makes a lot of sense. However, there is also people saying they've been doing it for 4 years. Now, the South Korean 4B movement has seen a spike in interest amid the results from the 2024 US presidential election. On Wednesday, November 6th morning, Republican candidate Donald Trump claimed victory over Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, throughout his 2024 re-election campaign, the former president has celebrated the Supreme Court's 2022 decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, a ruling that ended a nationwide right to unalive unborn babies. Now, it was also reproductive rights that propelled many women to the polls on Election Day as Missouri became the first state to undo a restrictive unaliving of unborn babies ban. However, after Trump declared victory over Democratic nominee Harris, some Americans couldn't help but say they felt reaffirmed in their belief that most of the United States would rather anyone else as president than a woman. Perhaps that's why interest in South Korea's 4B movement, a movement against patriarchy, has spiked in the US just hours after Trump's win. American women, looks like it's time to get influenced by Korea's 4B movement, one woman wrote on X or Twitter. Now, American women, it's time to learn from the Koreans and adopt the 4B movement, another user echoed. While a third person said the women in South Korea are doing it, it's time we join them. Men will not be rewarded nor have access to our bodies. Now, the 4B movement, which reportedly originated in 2019, stands for 4 Korean words beginning with BI or no in English. Now, supporters of the women-led movement refuse to date, marry, have or have children with men, effectively boycotting a system they feel perpetuates gender inequality. Members of the 4B movement view marriage as an existential threat to women, and their concerns are well-founded. Much like in the US, South Korean women are also subjected to a gender pay gap. While American women typically earn 82 cents for every dollar earned by men, South Korean women earn 31% less than men, the highest gender pay gap in democratic countries. Now, a 2018 report revealed that in the past 9 years, at least 824 women had been unalived and 602 more put at risk of unaliving due to intimate partner violence, IPV. Now, a 2021 study further found that 1 in 3 Korean women have experienced domestic violence with intimate partners, responsible for 46% of these cases. Now, in response, women within the 4B movement have chosen to disengage from traditional relationships altogether, asserting that practicing this is the only path to autonomy. Now, practicing Bihon means you're eliminating the risks that come from hetero-S marriage or dating. It's unclear how widespread the 4B movement is given its largely anonymous and offline nature, and its origins are just as nebulous. However, scholars credit its rise with a growing education gap between men and women in South Korea. Now, similar to the gender education gap in the US, in which women make up 59.5% of all college students, Korean women surpass men in college enrollment rates as of 2013. Today, nearly 3/4 of Korean women pursue higher education compared with less than 2/3 of men. Now, this shift fueled growing tension between men and women, with disgruntled groups of men coining the term kimchi women, pardon me if I'm mispronouncing that word, but to stereotype college-educated women as selfish, then exploitative of their partners, a feminist scholar explained in her research on true feminism. Now, these cultural attitudes echo trends in the US, where men are grappling with shifting gender roles, feeling the pressure of fewer blue-collar jobs and diminishing educational advantages. Many men are drawn to vote for conservative candidates like Trump, who promise a return to traditional values that, for some, prioritize men's interests at the expense of women's autonomy. Masculinity is in flux. Anthropologist Trina Orchard recently told The Independent in an interview about the gender political gap. Men are feeling constrained, and it's like they might feel like they have fewer options in terms of how to do manhood, how to think about their place in the world, and they feel devalued. Now, for many women in South Korea, the 4B movement isn't merely symbolic. It's a social stance aimed at reclaiming control over their lives, bodies, and futures in response to a system they feel is becoming increasingly hostile. Now, in the wake of the election, which has seen women's rights such as reproductive autonomy under threat, bringing the 4B movement to the US could be a radical response. However, the surge of American interest in the 4B movement underscores a shared frustration over what many see as a rollback of women's rights and freedoms, especially as conservative values gain ground among male voters. Now, with the movement gaining momentum online, one question looms: will American women rally around it, or perhaps create their own version as a form of protest against Trump's second presidential term in the White House? Now, a South Korean feminist described the movement as not just about refusing relationships with men. It's about refusing a system that devalues us. By disengaging from men, we are reclaiming our autonomy. Now, we've seen interest in the movement surged online immediately after Trump's win, with thousands of social media posts encouraging American women to join. I'm not just angry, I'm ready to act. The 4B movement is extreme, but maybe it's what we need to wake people up. One post read, reflecting a growing sense of urgency among supporters. Now, the principles of the 4B movement are not just symbolic. For many, they represent a form of resistance against social expectations and traditional gender norms. Now, while the 4B movement has gained traction in South Korea, it remains to be seen whether American women will adopt this exact terminology or adopt the principles to fit their own cultural context. Some may argue that the movement's core ideas, autonomy, self-sufficiency, and resistance to patriarchal norms, resonate deeply regardless of the label. Now, the conversation surrounding the 4B movement raises important questions about the future of feminism and women's rights in America. Will American women join the 4B movement, or will they forge their own path? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the discussion itself is a powerful indicator of the growing desire for change. We have finally come to the end of the video, but what do you, my viewers, have to say? Share your thoughts, your views in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video as I bring you another interesting video.